My name's Stux. I'm a professional Overwatch coach, and I have a few tips up my sleeve that might help you aim. Don't miss out on any future videos by headshotting that subscribe button and join the Discord to ask questions. A good mouse won't turn a bad aimer into a good one, but a bad mouse may turn a good aimer into one who performs poorly. Your equipment should always be the last thing you think about, but I want to quickly go into what to look for in mice. In the background, you can see my tryhard mouse. It's a fully customized Zowie FK2. I'll get more into it in a second. The first thing to talk about is weight, as this is really important for competitive shooters. I'll go a bit more into it in the aim fatigue video, but I'll give you some info right here. The heavier your mouse, the faster your wrist fatigues, and the faster your aim degrades over time, and the more frequent breaks you'll have to take. Weight also adds inertia. Moving your mouse is going to be a lot more sluggish, as accelerating and decelerating the mouse is going to be harder. You don't really want that. You want to be able to accelerate the mouse to the intended speed as fast as possible and be able to force a standstill as quickly as possible too. If the mouse is too heavy, you will fatigue quickly and struggle controlling it. Another important factor is the mouse sensor, mainly because of IPS, or the mouse's malfunctioning speed. Think of it like this. Every sensor has a frame rate. It takes a bunch of pictures of its surface and then compares them in order to figure out how much you moved. Now let's take a real monitor running Overwatch. If the monitor is running at 15 frames per second and you make a very quick turn, it's possible that you make a full 180-degree turn in less than a frame. This is problematic because the frames are completely different and have no features that are similar to the previous frame, so it is going to be impossible for you to tell what happened. But if you have a 240Hz monitor, for example, the same movement will be displayed a lot more precisely, which means that each frame shows a much smaller part of the turn, which makes it easier to stay oriented. So what does this mean? If your mouse is too slow, it won't be able to tell the difference between individual frames if you move your mouse too quickly, which causes a spin out, aka it knows that you moved your mouse, but it doesn't really know how you got there. From its perspective, you pretty much teleported the mouse to another area. It doesn't really know how to deal with the teleport, so it essentially, teleports your mouse cursor all over the place. It stops tracking or puts your cursor at the top left of the screen. You can try that with your mouse right now. Go to the practice range and make a super fast turn. If you have a bad mouse, you will notice that your character might not even turn at all. That's a spin out. That's what you want to avoid. Mouse size is also important, although it comes down to preference. I don't actually know why, but most high-speed aimers prefer smaller mice. My guess is that this is because smaller mice are more nimble, take up less of the mousepad, can allow the wrist to turn more while gripping it, and smaller mice usually come with less weight, which helps for the reasons mentioned earlier. But the main thing we're looking for is grip width. This is the distance between your fingers when gripping the mouse. Most prefer a smaller grip width as it makes aiming a little bit easier, although there is no scientific proof for this. This is all just anecdotal and quoting the experience of veteran players. Now let's talk about 3 ways you can mod your mouse to make it even more optimal. There are 3 kinds of mice cable: braided, rubber, and paracords. Braided cables are usually the stiffest, although exceptions exist, like with Razer products, who have relatively bendy braided cables. This is a problem because the inconsistent stiffness of the mouse cable can get in the way and be annoying. Rubber cables are less durable, but on average they are more flexible and thus affect aim less, although outliers exist. The absolute top of the line are paracords. These are mice cables just put into a paracord, which is usually used for climbing. The reason they are so flexible is because paracords themselves are very flexible, and since they are custom cables, they don't have any shielding. Mouse manufacturers need to put a shield into the cable for safety purposes, but those shields are really stiff usually. Since paracords are custom, it is literally a bunch of copper surrounded by cloth, and it is really flexible. Most people, including me, essentially call the experience indistinguishable from wireless mice. Next, we have custom mice feet. There are 2 advantages to them. First of all, they allow you to adjust the feel of the mouse. Custom mice feet like hyperglides, which are the ones I use, are very smooth and a lot faster than most stock mouse feet, which for me personally makes them more enjoyable. And another advantage is consistency. If I use multiple mice or my mouse feet wear out, I can simply get another few pairs of hyperglides and replace them, so that my mouse feel remains consistent. And lastly, we have grip tape, or usually called gun tape, because people use it to make their gun handles more grippy. It's relatively cheap, and I imported mine from the States. Cut it into shape, put onto the mouse, shoot with a hairdryer so it snugs itself onto the mouse. The reason I like grip tape is because the FK2 has a horrendous coating. It literally feels like someone ate gummy bears and then smeared their saliva all over it. It's disgusting. But grip tape fixes that. So here you can see my fully custom FK2 with a paracord, hyperglides, and grip tape. So this is all the info I can give you about mice. I really recommend Rocket Jump Ninja. He is the #1 when it comes to reviewing mice for high tier players, and he doesn't care about any RGB or adjustable weights. He just cares about their competitive performance, so I really recommend you check it out. That's it for today's video. Make sure to subscribe so you can see the other parts of Aim Secrets and join the Discord community to become a part of something bigger. My name is Aristax, and I'd like to thank you for learning.